welcome to the Paranormal Pete Show. This is your host, Peter Orbea. We're on Let's Talk Radio, WLTK-DB.com. You can find the show live on there and pretty much everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Just look it up under WLTK-DB. And I'm on episode 30 here. I can't believe it. 3-0. And I just can't believe time's flying and having fun doing the show. And I really appreciate all the support each week that everyone shows. It's very humbling, but very proud to have 30 episodes going here. So, and many more to come. So, welcome to the show. And it is August 3rd. Can you believe it? I always comment on how fast time flies, but maybe I'll have to do a show on time. Just can't believe this year's flying by. Episode 30, we've got special guest Michelle Labaron, who's a paranormal investigator. Many people know her as the Ghost Magnet, and we've got her on tonight, so we'll bring her on in just a minute. Just wanted to let y'all know about some things that I've got coming up. Really excited about my band, Steady Rock Cosmonaut, finally playing a gig this coming Sunday here in Port Gamble. So if you're in the local region, it's on Sunday. We're playing at 3:30 p.m. Linda, thanks for commenting. Happy 30. Linda's been a guest on the show, and we'll have to have her again as well. But thanks for listening and supporting the show, Linda. I really appreciate it. So yeah, this Sunday, 3:30 in Port Gamble. We've got music from 12:30 to 4:30 with my good friend Mikey Haslip and also good friend James Honeycutt and the Tammy Frost Trio as well. So come out and see the band, steadyrockcosmonaut.com if you want to check it out beforehand. Just so excited to play a gig. It's been since March 6th of last year. It's been a long time, so we're itching to get out and play a gig. So I'm really excited about that. Coming up October 1st, my Ghost Walk season starts. So the Port Gamble Ghost Walk tours start October 1st, every Friday and Saturday night in October, including Halloween, which is a Sunday this year. But I will not be holding tours October 15th and 16th because I'll be speaking at a brand new paranormal conference. It's very humbling, and I'm super honored to speak at the Centralia Paranormal Conference, and it's put on by the Centralia Downtown Festivals Association. They do the big Ghost Walk tours there with members of Spooked in Seattle, like Ross Allison and June Nixon and other team members. They do Ghost Walks on the 16th, and I'm really looking forward to catching one of those. But the conference is, Chris, thanks. Oh, he's going to be at that event. Right on. I'll see you there. The conference is only on Friday. Hey, John. Thanks for listening, John Covey. Hope I said that right. So yeah, I'm super excited. It's a brand new conference. It's really cool to see new conferences coming out, and it's going to be on Friday. And I believe I speak at 4 p.m. So I'm kicking the whole thing off. No pressure, no pressure at all. But if you go to CentraliaDowntownFestivals.com/paranormal-conference, that's the website for it. So check out the other speakers. There's Karen Fraser, who's been on a friend of this show. She's going to be speaking there, and Jacob Rice and June Nixon, maybe Ross Allison too. So we've got a great lineup of speakers, and I'm very honored to be in that lineup. There's going to be so much great information coming out there. And we'll be asking special guest Michelle Labaron tonight about some of the conferences she goes to as well, just because they're so important in the paranormal field. And anybody who goes to paranormal conferences, you understand why. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But I've got the Ghost Walks coming up, that conference. And then we've got the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, the 12th annual, coming up November 5th through 7th. And if you go to portgamble.com/ghost conference, you can find the information there. Right now, we're accepting speaker, class, and vendor applications, although there's really limited space on the vendor applications because we don't have a whole lot of room for vendors. But November 5th through 7th, And just fingers crossed that we don't go backwards here in Washington with the way everything's going, so that we can have that in person. I got Jay from Northwest Paranormal Research Group. Love you too, brother. Thanks for listening. And Jay out there, I'm going to put you on the spot. We're going to get you on the show. So anyways, we got lots of stuff coming up. I'm excited. PortGambleParanormal.com is where you can go to get Ghost Walk tickets. And that's a 3-hour tour. I know it sounds like a long time, and oh geez, that's got to be boring, but I can barely fit it all into 3 hours. But it's a lot of the history here in historic Port Gamble. And if you don't know about the place, it was established in 1853, which is pretty old for the West Coast. And it's been a company-owned town and had a sawmill that ran for 142 years here. And a lot of the original housing and buildings are still here and intact, and people live in them. So it's just a really cool spot. And so you get a lot of the history and plus all the ghost stories and paranormal experiences that I can muster up within the 3 hours. It also includes a tour of the Walker Ames mansion. So look that up, Walker Ames house. So yeah, lots going on. If you haven't been to the station website for a while, hopefully you're watching on there. WLTK-DB.com. Station manager Todd Bates, host of Haunted Voices as well, has been just doing a number on that website. It's so cool. It's a really fun experience, and you can watch the show right on there. So not only are we on Facebook and pretty much everywhere else you can think of, but right there on the website you can watch the show. And while you're there, check out all the other shows that are on the station. There's great programming each day of the week. So and if you want to be a host and host your own show, just go to the website, and there's a whole section on that, how to become a host for the show, for the station, I should say, but to host your own show. So that's how I got here. I'm 30 episodes in, so it's definitely a really fun experience doing this. But take some time, go through the website, check out all the other shows. If you can't catch things live, that's normal now, so that everything's on demand as well. So oh, there's Sherry. Howdy, great to see you. Well, thanks for commenting, thanks for watching and listening. So that's just some stuff coming up. Oh, and I can't forget, we got all kinds of cool stuff now on the station merch page. So I got this for keeping my water ice cold through the hot summer days, although today is looking like the Pacific Northwest and even rained a little bit. If you hear thunder, it's not any special effects. There may be thunder off in the distance, which I guess adds effect to the show. So, but enough about what I've got going on. I'm really excited to bring on my special guest tonight, Michelle Labaron, and she is a paranormal investigator. She's an intuitive, extremely empathic, and a sensitive as well. So I'm looking forward to talking about being an empath with her. She uses her intuitions and feelings with a combination of old school and new school methods of investigating. She's collected videos, audio, and photos and compelling data of the afterlife. Her main goal is to spread love and light and happiness in the paranormal community. Her paranormal passion runs deep in her veins, and her mission is to make a meaningful contribution to the field, as well as help as many people as she can in the process, both the living and the dead. So please welcome special guest Michelle Labaron to the show. Yay.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking time and coming on the show. And you're a pretty busy person, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly honored.
Well, I am as well. So I guess we'll have a fight over who's honored more here. So,
Hi,
well,
Sarah.
oh, yeah. And hey, John. There you
Hi,
go.
John. Sorry.
That's all good. Hey, Sarah.
Ah,
Had Sarah on the show last week. It was so much fun. Hope to have her on again. We had some great conversations, and it was very thought provoking for me. So thanks again, Sarah. But
yeah,
tonight,
I adore her. She's a great lady.
yes, oh for
So,
sure. And you and her are both really busy in the paranormal field.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it all, but
I don't either. I just go. I'm like a little energized bunny. Except for this weekend, I was really exhausted, but I think it
yeah,
got the best of me because I work graveyard.
yeah. Ugh.
So
I couldn't do that. Even though I like to stay up late, I don't know that I could work graveyard. I guess you really have to adjust your body, your mind, everything's got to
yeah.
adjust to it. But does that help you with paranormal investigation when everyone's, really dragging it like 2 or 3 in the morning? You're like, okay, I'm ready for lunch.
Pretty much. Just like yesterday, I went to Virginia City to investigate the Silver Queen with my sister teammate Rhonda
Hmm.
Grimes. Vegas. She's over here with me. We spent the weekend together. We got 2 rooms at the Silver Queen, 2 of the most haunted rooms, and I had been working so hard at work that I didn't even take a nap yesterday when I got off. We just head up to VC, and I mean, I crashed hard like at 7. And Rhonda was running around the hotel by herself, like trying to keep herself busy so I could sleep. But, you know, we managed. We had
Yeah,
fun. We had a great
yeah.
time. We had a
Well, if
great
there's
time.
anything this whole last year and a half is taught us is, to survive, to get through things. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Absolutely.
so what are the claims in the rooms that you stayed in? If you said they're the most haunted of the
Um,
place, what are some of the claims?
well, there's a room 11.
Hmm.
And what it was one of the ladies of the night
Okay.
back in the 1800s. She was in love with one of the cowboy miner men and
Okay.
became pregnant. And he didn't want anything to do with her because she became pregnant. And she was in love with him and he broke her heart. And claims say that she went into the bathtub in room 11. It's really famous. Everyone takes photos in there. I've even taken one. But
Sure.
they said she slit her wrists in that bathtub. But I found out by a historian and by someone that knows a lot about the hotel, she said that yes, she did commit suicide in that room, but she slit her wrists in the bathroom sink, not in the bathtub.
Okay.
Um, so that's a big story. There's been claims of apparitions going in and out of room 11 and 13 because both rooms are conjoined
Hmm.
just by a door and a little lock. You can go
Okay.
into both rooms, and that's why we went and investigated both rooms. Um, I recently was there with my best friend Lisa Ludwig, and we had a camera on us at night while we were sleeping, and I felt something tap me on my hip. And I sat up sideways a little and I'm like, what the hell? I said something else, but I'm going to try and keep it clean. Um, I'm like, what was that? Like that. And I felt it. They were like, hello, kind of like that. And I'm
Wow.
like, who did that? Who did that? My friend's turned over the other way. She's passed out cold. And no pun intended. That's bad, huh? But anyways, so I went and laid back down and I'm like, please let me sleep like that. And then on the video, you hear a woman go, gotcha, like
Whoa.
that. Yeah. So
Whoa.
there is a woman spirit in that room. I'm not saying that it's Rosie. I mean, that hotel has been there for a very, very long time, since like the 1860s, 70s.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that went on in there.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I've heard my name being called out and I woke up out of a dead sleep. Another dead thing. Okay, we're not going to say that. I
It's
woke
okay.
up.
Paranormal puns are okay here. It's fine.
So I woke up and I'm like, whoa. And I heard my name being called. Um, it's just crazy. You get touched a lot. Actually, Rhonda and I were entering room 11 and we both stopped right there. And we both got like I don't have a lot of hair on my arms, but they were what hair I had was standing
Standing
on
up.
end. Yeah. And so was she. And was like, whoa. And then it went like through over me and then went towards her and then it went over her side to her back area and it left. And that was the most activity we received the whole night.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. All of our equipment was drained.
Okay.
I got like 7 minutes on my camcorder, fully
Awesome.
loaded batteries. Her video camera and everything was, she had a 7 minute video. So it was like, whoa, they didn't really want us to video them.
Yeah,
So,
or they needed that energy to do something.
oh, yeah, they probably were doing something, but we were asleep and we
Yeah,
didn't catch it.
of course. That's how it
So,
works. That's how
but
it
yeah,
works.
Silver Queen is a cool place. There's a
Right.
lot of places in Virginia City that is extremely haunted. The whole town is. As soon as you enter that town, you're just like, ah, the energy is amazing. And
Cool. Yeah.
once you visit there, you'll always go back. It just
Is it one
gets
of
to
those
you.
places? Is it one of those places because of the energy? If you're sensitive to the energy, you just feel called back there, like a pull to that energy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a totally different energy. It's a different vibe for sure. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some things there that are not happy and nice. They're negative, but it's more it's not a lot of negativity there. Everyone's
Mm,
happy in that town. There are a lot of people like to run around and party and
yeah.
have a good time.
Well, and they join right in on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So would you say, I mean, why do you think that it's kind of a widespread haunting? It's the term I can think
Okay.
for it. Why do you think? And I ask because where I'm at up here in Washington in Port Gamble, it's the same sort of thing where when you get here it just feels different, and
I
there's a lot
can
of historic buildings and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So
pretty much. I can tell you why it's so filled with so much energy, different energy. There was over 40,000 people living in this tiny little town between the mountains. I mean, it's in the mountains. It's away from the cities.
right.
You have to go up these windy roads just to get to it. It's a little old, it looks like an old Western town.
Yeah.
Um, and it's maybe, I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4 blocks long.
Hmm.
Um, it's a
And,
tiny town.
and there
But
were 40,000. There were
they
40,000.
had more people there in that tiny town than there was in LA at the time.
Oh man.
And there were a lot of deaths,
Sure.
a lot of murders, a lot
Yeah.
of there was a lot of cold spells, a lot of people died, a lot of disease, Spanish flus, all those, just all those
Right.
different things. Um, um, it's also the mountains have lots of metals like copper and silver and gold, and
Right.
so that's a conduit for energy.
Yeah.
So it's a whole bunch of different stuff, a whole bunch of what do you call that, where the hauntings just keep looping. Yeah, residual.
Okay.
A
People
lot of
just
yeah.
people going about their business, what they did kind of day in and day out. And
Yeah, it was an everyday thing. Boom, ba boom, ba boom. And also, I mean, there was prostitution. There was Chinese miners. It's a really amazing little town. A lot of history. It's my home away from home. I absolutely love that place. Um, and the Washoe Club actually, the grounds would be so frozen that they weren't able to bury people, so they lined these people up or laid them on top of each other inside of this area called the crypt in the Washoe Club. And it's actually was an underground, I guess now it's like it was a liquor place to store liquor. They put the bodies in there until winter, went away, and then they just buried the bodies once they were able to dig.
My
That,
gosh.
yeah, yeah, it's
Life was
pretty.
so different just
Yeah.
150 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Isn't that
Uh-huh.
crazy?
It is.
Yeah. Well, hey, on that note, we're going to take a quick station break here, pay the station bills. And then when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the Washout Club. And then we're going to move on to
Okay.
some other stuff.
Absolutely.
But we'll take a quick station break here on Let's Talk Radio, WLTK-DB.com. This is your host, Pete Orbea, on the Paranormal Pete Show with special guest, Michelle Labaron. We'll be right back.
Paranormal evidence. We scour the internet searching for true paranormal captures, information, and education. New methods mixed with old methods of capturing this mysterious phenomenon. Well, look no further for your ghostly voices than ghostly-voices.com. Nicole Tito and Lisa Crick take you on a journey into their paranormal world and provide you with true EVP and ITC audio captures, compelling information on debunking, some hilarious bloopers, and more. Remember, these two are veterans in the field and know how to capture the true evidence you are looking for. Ghostly-voices.com, your paranormal stop for true audio evidence. Ghostly-voices.com. A book of mystery, a book of one man's journey, a book of the afterlife, a book you must read. Ghost and Me by 5-time award-winning author Kevin Killen is a book of one man's journey in the search of the afterlife. Read of his chilling childhood experience, his investigative journeys, and his opinions of paranormal activity. Ghost and Me by Kevin Killen, an Ozark Mountain publication. Get your copy today online or wherever books are sold.
All right. Welcome back to the Paranormal Pete Show. We're on episode 30. And to celebrate episode 30, the show is also Between Two Ferns, or maybe one that's over here in my background if you're watching on the station or anywhere else. WLTK-DB.com. Join the conversation if you've got questions. Special guest Michelle and I will do our best to answer them. But join the conversation. Keep the comments coming in. Let us know where you're listening from. And anything you want to add to the conversation, go ahead and put it on there, and we'll respond to it. So real quick, before we get back into the Washoe Club in Virginia City with Michelle, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my dog Dino. He was almost 14, and we had to say goodbye to him last week. And he's very well missed, but no, he's in a good spot. So I just wanted to make sure and give a shout out to old Dino. He was a good dog. And well, we'll turn it around here. And so, Michelle, before we went to break here, we were talking about Virginia City and just kind of how the whole place has this energy, and there's just kind of stuff everywhere. And you were talking about the Washoe Club and the crypt, where the ground was so hard they couldn't bury people in the wintertime, so they'd put them in the alcohol storage area. Have you, when you've been investigating there, did you have any experiences in that specific location in the crypt? Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Hello?
There she is.
Okay. Yes, I really haven't had a lot of activity. I've had more activity inside the building itself on
Okay.
the second and third floors. I've had EVPs in there, but really, I've never felt uncomfortable in the crypt. It's a very small area. Well, it's like a room
Mm-hmm.
with, and it's dark and it's cold. Um, it smells old. It doesn't smell like death because,
Well,
that was a long time ago.
that's good.
But yeah, but I just, it never calls me. I'm not, I'm never really drawn to it. The only
Sure.
time I'll go in is if someone goes, "Hey, let's go in there." I'm like, okay. So I go in with them, but I mainly rather just go up and investigate the building more than the crypt. So
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, Kevin Mackey. It's Bothell, Washington. All right, another fellow Washingtonian, and then we had Sherry comment from. She's listening from Robinson, Illinois. So all over the place, and I'm hoping our friend from Germany, Boris, is out there. If you're listening, Boris, go ahead and comment. Um, he's our friend in Germany there, but so when you investigate, then you talk about being drawn into a place.
mhm.
I mean, when you approach any place, whether it's a private home or a historic location, I mean, do you really kind of follow where you're just drawn to, or do you really? Is there a good balance for you between knowing if there's a client involved, knowing where um, to focus on because of past experiences, or do you just kind of go where you're drawn to?
Hold on a sec. I'm sorry. Hi, sister. Okay, sorry.
Hey, that's all good. It's all good.
um, I'm like, if say I don't do residentials anymore. Usually it's for people I know,
Sure.
because literally I've done quite a bit of residentials,
Mhm.
but it's got to the point where it's completely exhausting for me emotionally, physically, because a lot of the time when I go in there, out of 100% of the residentials that I do, 20% is legit. 80% is like, "Oh, she's a ghost hunter. Yeah, let's get her in her house, blah, 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 blah." Or, people that are on drugs and
Sure.
that are like tweaking all night and they're seeing stuff and hearing stuff.
Right.
I can literally go into a home really and feel the different types of energies because, uh-oh, hold on. Sorry, emergency broadcast system.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry. What the hell?
Uh-oh, they knew you were going to be on the air. Emergency broadcast.
There's a huge fire about 100 miles from us.
Oh,
So, but, be going into so many places and doing a lot of residentials and just, I
yeah.
feel the energies, different types of energies. My body has become in tuned. I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Um, I'm in tuned with it. I can
Yeah.
walk in somewhere and feel that it's not good energy. I mean, I feel that with people. I mean, when they're near me.
Right.
Um,
And
so,
that's part of being, as extreme empath, right?
yes,
Yeah, it doesn't
yes.
matter living or dead, you feel that energy.
There's a lot of
Mhm.
emotional energy vampires all over the place.
Yes.
Ugh, it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Now, there are ones that do good. They do it for good
Oh,
because they know
yes.
what they're doing. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that I think just don't even realize, and maybe
Yep.
there's people who do realize, and that's kind of crazy. Someone for listening, Suzanne from Vancouver, Washington. So welcome to the show. Thanks for listening. Um, so how does your? I'm just curious. Uh, I've I feel like I've been an empath all my life, but just didn't know it, until more recently, like about 7, 8 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, how do you differentiate the bad energy? Is it you feel something and then you just kind of know? Like, how does that process work for you? If you walk into a place and you're like, okay, there's good energy here, or
Yeah, it's
what's kind of how does that feel to you?
like negative energy. It affects me. It's weird. It's like it like vibrates and pushes into me, and it makes me sick.
Okay,
I
that's
get
not good.
pain. I get like aches in the back of my neck. Um, the vibration is different.
Right.
I wish I could explain it better, but it is happy, good energy is it just makes you feel good all over. You get a vibration, but it's a good feeling vibration. It's 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 not, I mean
Would
that's how
you?
I can explain it.
Yeah. No, I totally.
I
I
mean, I'm
understand.
smiling when I feel good energy from people. I love
Yeah.
hugging people. I have a tendency to hug people and pull the negativity from them, which makes me exhausted, but
Right.
it makes them happy. And that what makes me happy. I get a
Yeah.
lot of people saying how much they love hugging me because I make them feel good when I hug them. So,
And that's kind of in a sense a good psychic vampirism. You're
yeah.
you're you're
Yeah.
pulling that negative out of there, and that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll hold people for the longest time and just hug them when I start to feel something's not right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, when I release them, they're like, oh my God. It's like,
What
I
just
need a
happened?
cigarette. That sort of thing. And sometimes I feel like that. I need a cigarette. I don't smoke, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean. I used to, but
What's the next
it
conference you're going to be at? Should line up for hugs.
yeah, definitely. I will be in Washington at the end of August. Chalice, Washington.
Chehalis.
Yeah, Chehalis, Washington, with Marie and
Awesome.
Jay Yates and some other wonderful people.
That's Chehalis is a cool place.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the museum there.
That's what I'm investigating. I'm
All
excited.
right. Well, I have not investigated there, but some of my previous guests have spent a lot of time there, and I think
Oh,
you're gonna have an interesting time investigating there.
I'm
But
excited.
keep your eyes peeled for objects being thrown. So,
Okay.
but
I'll
that's really
wear,
cool. So
maybe I
when
should wear like one of those full bodied suits, like dog trainers wear when I
yes,
walk in.
don't mind me. I'm protecting myself from
Yeah.
the energies in here.
I look like the Stay Puff Marshmallow Man walking in there.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's really cool. So that's coming up at the end of August.
Mhm.
So okay, well, going back to the empath stuff, I'm just
Okay.
interested to hear what other people's what their experience is with being an empath. So you said you feel off, the living or the
I'm
dead.
sorry. This
That's all
is
right.
ridiculous.
I'll just say I hope everybody out there stays safe, with all the fires going on. Please stay safe and please watch your alerts. So if you need to evacuate, you got plenty as much notice as you can. Um, so if you say you hug somebody and you can, you kind of pull the negative out of them,
Mhm.
you know that that'll build up on you after a while, and then it's
Yeah.
like you got this big black gooey mess, kind of stuck to you. How do you kind of cleanse yourself of that? Do you ground yourself, or do you just kind of let it ride, or how do you
Let
go
it
about that?
ride.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes I don't ground myself and I should.
Hmm.
I do, but I don't sometimes. It's what you're saying, let it ride. I mean, I can't feel it immediately until I'm like right really close to them.
Yeah.
And gosh, and it's so weird because sometimes I get visual pictures in my head and my eyes are closed and I could feel them. And I sometimes it makes me, tear up. Um, but yeah, but when I do give a lot of people hugs, or when I'm around a lot of people that feed off my energy, that try and pull it, I sometimes like go in hiding
Sure.
and fix myself. Basically, I like to be around water.
Hmm.
Um, I'll go out and I will ground myself, or I will release everything from me. I'll pull from the earth and bring energy from the earth around my body to protect myself. And I'll do that barefoot, because I want every inch of energy from the earth go through my body to clear me out. So, and I'll have my hands out so that things can exit out of my extremities,
Right.
So, but yeah, I do that.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, but if everybody could do more of that, it'd be interesting to see how much healthier people would be, how much less stressed people would be. But it is hard to do. And I even have, I talk about it all the time, but I never, a lot of times don't feel like I have the time to do that when it really
I
doesn't take that long. But
you if you don't make the time, it can make you very sick, and you
yeah,
can get depression and anxiety, and
yeah,
I'll go into that, and it's scary, because just bad thoughts happen. You think about bad things. You're like,
yeah,
oh my God, I can't do this. I got to be here. This is why I'm here, is to help others, and to do what I do. And
yeah,
I can't do it being depressed with a freaking big old blanket wrapped up on the couch crying and watching the boob tube. I want to
yeah,
be out and about, and I want to make a difference and help people.
yeah.
So,
Uh, and I think that is a very noble intention, and it's great that it sounds like you've really set that intention for yourself,
mhm.
and that can kind of help keep you guided and focused on what you're doing. That's really cool. Um, you know, so if you don't do that all the time, just try and I'll just say this with everyone out there, just try and make a little time each day. I don't know if it's whether you're going to bed or when you wake up in the morning. It's good to try to do that. And I'll put this to the audience out there. How many people out there do you practice grounding and centering, or do you just let it ride? Until you've really got to do something about it. Because in Michelle, I feel like I can relate to you in the sense that sometimes I feel like crawling under a rock,
Oh
and
yeah.
just, I'm very outgoing normally, but sometimes I feel like
Mhm.
just crawling under a rock and not, I don't want to see the light of day.
I feel you too.
How did you do through all of the shutdowns and everything? Because there was just so much of people's energy out there on the living side of things. Did you feel a difference? Did you feel overwhelmed? Kind of how did you handle that?
um, it was overwhelming for sure,
Mhm.
because there was panic. There was a lot of different types of energy. There was sadness, there was panic, tons of death, worry. I
Mhm.
mean, this whole last year was just not a good year.
Yeah.
Um, I was an emotional wreck, you know, from it.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't do a whole hell of a lot of investigating. I kind of kept away. Of course, a lot of things were shut down. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you felt it. And then now that things started to gradually, get better, people are thinking, oh my God, the energy is rising up again. But there's more panic, and the energy is starting to change again,
Yeah.
because this other virus that's supposedly out there, that's like worse.
Right.
um
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. It's kind of rearing.
it's made me distant myself from people that I didn't want to distant from.
Yeah.
You lose people, you lose loved ones. It's just chaotic. It was
Yeah.
chaotic. It was a
Yeah.
chaos. I hated it.
Yeah. But at the same time, the world needs people like you trying to put light out there
I do
and
my best.
and trying to
I
keep it going.
I tend to, I mean, I do my best to be there for people, to treat people kindly, be positive towards people. I work my freaking butt off in this field because I am so passionate about it. I've got, probably like a handful of haters. I mean, I've got more people that love me that hate me, which I am grateful, but it still affects me that knowing that someone doesn't like me because they're jealous of the things I do. And, it hurts. And, I've lost people that I really thought that loved me and that were in my life, and they actually don't give, pardon my French, two shits.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of made me a little bitter and very cautious with people.
Yeah.
But, I will love the people that want my love.
Yeah.
For real.
And, that's all we can do.
And that's the bad thing. Being an empathic, being a nice, loving, kind person, sometimes you can't see it till you get hit in the back of the head. Bam.
Right. Yeah. And you're off, being an empath, you tend to be very giving.
Yeah.
Giving that energy. Can we get the last couple of comments? And Sherry had said about she walks in the grass barefoot. Makes her feel like she's in tune with Mother Earth. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to have that natural connection. And then
Yes.
Kate says, "I lay right in the grass in my yard and just breathe it out to get grounded. My neighbors probably think I'm passed out day drinking." But sometimes I feel like I need to be entirely touching nature and the ground,
Yes.
and who cares what they think?
The forest, going up into the mountains and walking
Yes.
in the trees and smelling the pine, and it's just a different type of smell. It's just it's so wonderful. You can ground yourself going through there too. It's just beautiful and amazing.
Anywhere where you can be touching nature and like barefoot, that's a great way to go. Those are some great ways. Thanks for commenting that, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. The ocean is also another water. Just anything water. I mean, I'm a Cancer. I'm a crab, and I'm a moon baby, so I love everything that has to do with water. It really grounds me, especially a bath. Oh my God, it's like I mean, you're just. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, well, people out there, find your element, and then what are you drawn to elemental wise, and then use that as a ground. If you're a fire person, it's sitting by the propane gas fire pit right now with all the burn bans going on.
Oh yeah.
Or a campfire. If you're lucky enough to be in a place that doesn't have burn bans going on. But yeah, find that element, and I totally agree with you about the water. I grew up in Boise, Idaho, and there's the Snake River and the Boise River and some lakes, but now I live by the water, just around from Puget Sound.
Oh wow,
And
nice.
If I go anywhere inland, I'm always like, where's the water? Where's the water? I don't see it. I'm going to freak out. Where's the water?
Yeah.
I guess I've been spoiled that way. But, well, I kind of wanted to get to know you as an investigator tonight.
Okay.
And because I've never got to investigate with you, and maybe someday we'll get to investigate.
I would love that.
Somewhere, maybe up here in Port Gamble. I think you would really
I would love it.
Enjoy the Walker Ames house here. So, has being an empath and a sensitive, has this been something you've realized all your life? Meaning, did you have experiences as a kid that you kind of made you think, there's something more out there?
I don't remember as long as, as a young kid, I remember, my mom was always talking about, the spirit realm and witchcraft and all that wonderful stuff. Because I do have that in my bloodline. We have my older sister, Jamie, she did some genealogy, on our family,
Yeah.
and found out that there was a lot of women in Aberdeen, Scotland, and there was a lot of witches back in the day from Aberdeen.
Okay.
And some were murdered, some were put to death. And, you know, back in the day, you have special gifts, you were considered as a witch.
Right.
So she found all this stuff out. There's so much more that I don't know about that she has that she still needs to share with me. But I know I have ancestors that, you know, women in the day, back in the day, with special gifts. And I think that's what contributes to why I am doing what I'm doing today.
Sure.
But I had premonitions when I was younger. I dreamt that the space shuttle blew up, went into the living room. My mom and dad were on the couch watching the space shuttle, and it blew up.
Oh my.
So, and I told them before it happened, and they're so.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a freak.
We all are in some way,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
like being a freak, though.
Right.
That wouldn't be me.
Yeah, exactly.
Marry me to
Exactly.
you.
That's exactly. You know, okay, well, it sounds like, you know, some of your family was more open-minded about things. So,
Oh, my
um,
mom's side of the family. My older sister practices witchcraft. My mom,
yeah,
you know, I dabble a little bit in it, but I'm more of the paranormal thing. Um,
sure.
but I do dabble a little, but I don't do anything for bad.
Sure.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Good intentions.
Right. Good disclaimer. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, so my point is just, you know, it sounds like, you know, you weren't like, I mean, hopefully not like shunned or anything if you had
Oh
any sort of
no.
experience. Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people deal
No.
with that
Yeah.
even.
Yeah,
Um,
I get it, but no.
as yeah, it,
We're the black sheep of the family. We tend to our own. We're good.
that hey, that's if that's what makes you happy, then
That's
that's
the best.
yeah. I'm the best. That's what you
Yes.
say.
Yep, I am. My
um,
family is. I love them.
so, I mean, what got you into the paranormal field, and what kind of resources were you seeking out when you were kind of getting started in the paranormal field?
Um, you know, I've had experiences with the afterlife. I really started dabbling in it when I was in my early 20s, and I pulled out an Ouija board. And I just had gotten off work. I worked in a deli at Smith's Food and Drug, and across the street was a motel. And friends of mine wanted to hang out and, you know, kind of play on an Ouija board. So we did. And I was attached by a spirit for the first time in my life. And um, if I could tell you, I guess I have time.
Yeah,
um, So I'm sitting on the floor with three other girls. My friend, I'm not going to say her name, went into the
sure.
bathroom to go to the bathroom. She's in there a bit, you know. I don't know what
Mhm.
she's doing, but so we're playing with the Ouija board, and this woman comes through, and I tried to look up her name. I don't think it was her full name, but her name that came to me on the board spelled out was Tess Fagan, Tessfagan, Fagen. And
Okay.
so I'm talking to her, and she's spelling all this stuff out, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you know, they're like, oh, you know, this is crazy. And she mentioned that she was murdered on a train coming
Okay.
out of San Francisco with her
Okay.
two children, and that there was a gentleman, no, he's no gentleman.
Oh, all right. We may have lost Michelle for a second. Are you still there? Okay. So, while we see if we can get Michelle back, let's talk about some empath stuff. So, since Michelle's very empathic, I feel like I am. We talked about some grounding and some ways you guys ground out there. What are some ways, um, does anybody ever turn it down, in a sense? Turn down your empathy, turn down what you're receiving. And how do you do that? So maybe you're not wanting to shut it off for any given time, but you want to turn it down. What's the process that you use? If you can briefly describe in the comments. Um, Example I always give, and that I use is, I love playing guitars, and oh, Michelle's back. I'll finish my thought real quick.
That's weird.
Yeah, I went back to empathic stuff and was just saying, how do people turn it down? And for me, I use a visualization of I have guitar amp knobs on my stomach, and that I turn it down, turn the volume down. It's normally, Spinal Tap, it's on 11. But I'll turn that down. So if anybody wants to share, what do you do to turn that empathy down? I'd be interested to hear that. So let's get back to your story, Michelle. You had Tess Fagan, or at least what you thought that name was, coming through, and that she was murdered on a train coming out of San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay, that's where we were.
Well, I have to have a light because it's really dull. I can't see you along here. It's dark. Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy's name is Streeter. He's the one that murdered her and her children. This is what I got off of the Ouija board. Okay. And we're like flipping out, like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? This is nuts.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I need to go. And so the planchette was moving and she put it to no. And then I moved it over to yes. And then she moved it over to no. And I took my hand off of it.
Oh, geez.
And I felt something. I felt cold, very, very cold. It was in August, like the first week of August when this happened. And it was like 90 some odd to 100-degree weather. I'm in tank top and shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm freezing. And I run to the bathroom and my friend's on the toilet. And I've got my hand on the sink and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like not seeing my face. It's like morphing. And I look down and the water faucets turn on and my hands are on the sink and my friend gets up. She's like, holy shit. And she pees on herself. This is so horrible. I feel bad. But so after that, I got into I had a Honda CRX at the time. Nice. So I get in there, so I'm driving home. And I have a friend and she was a psychic. We were young. We were in our early 20s.
Okay.
She was also a witch. And I opened my door in the house. And this is real life stuff. This is not, this is amazing. I could write a book about it or even a movie. That's how amazing. So I walk in and she's sitting sideways on the couch with a book. There's candles burning all over the house. There is a white circle in the middle of the wooden floor with a pentagram with white candles around it.
Okay.
And I'm walking in and I see this and she looks up at me. She goes, I've been waiting for you.
Oh, jeez.
And I go, what? She goes, get into the pentagram now. And so I did. And she goes, don't move. And I'm like, okay. So she put barriers all around everybody's room, all the doors. Okay. No one was home at the time. It was so that when the spirit left me, it wouldn't go into other rooms. It would go directly out. So basically she was cleansing. And she pulled it from me. She was calling it out. She was pulling it out. I was standing in the pentagram. And my eyes were closed. I could feel it just coming out of my body, just the pressure. And I opened my eyes and this she ran to the door. She opened the door. She goes, "Get out," like that. And this holographic light shoots out of my body and goes right out the door, and she shuts it. And I
Oh
can't,
my gosh.
it's crazy.
That I don't think it's crazy. I think that's intense.
It
Holy
was. I've
smokes.
seen many stuff like that. I've learned to pull people, spirits from people, um, because of that. I
Wow.
saw that. So yeah, it's was pretty crazy.
That
Um,
is
that was
that
my
is
first real
oh my god.
paranormal attachment. I got attached another couple times, but they weren't full on attachments. They were attachments of them trying to affect me, but I was so guarded that they couldn't get
Yeah.
through. So I was like a
Yeah.
partial attachment. Um, but
What a first big experience. My gosh. We got people
yeah.
commenting. Mary commented, "Yikes." Jay, damn. I mean, what an experience. I mean, what was that? What was the car ride like going
You
over
know
there?
what? I don't remember it.
Really?
I don't
Okay.
remember my car ride. I remember leaving and
Uh-huh.
then arriving in the front, looking at the two-story house and walking in.
Interesting.
I don't know where I went. And
Yeah.
I even had a UFO situation at one time, but where I didn't remember the whole how I got where I got. And I thought, oh my God, did I get probed or something? I don't know. I could have.
You could have been abducted.
Yeah.
And who knows how all
I,
that works. I mean,
yeah.
what
Maybe that's
an
why I can speak to the spirits, is because the aliens stuck chips in my body or something. I don't know. Some
anything's possible.
it could have happened.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
My gosh, I'm kind of floored by that experience. I mean, it was just like
Oh, I
boom,
have
boom,
so
boom,
many
boom.
stories. I really could write a book. And
Yeah,
my
well,
friend Rebecca Genesis keeps bothering me with that. I will help you, Mish. I'll help you. It's like, damn it. So I
well, you
might
you
get
should.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Well, let's get into some more of those here in a second. Can
Okay.
we get the last comment? I think it was from Kate. Might have been through Facebook, where I was talking about turning it down, and she had a comment. She has a hard time turning it down. Mostly it's on or off for me. I like the idea of visualization, though. Yeah, totally. Use
Mm-hmm.
visualization to try different things out. And it really will end up helping you focus and clearing everything else out of your mind using visualization. So anytime you can do that, use a visualization and focus on all the details of your surroundings, and that usually will help things out. So yeah, give that a try. Um, Man, so all right. Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you then. I'm kind of jumping around a little
It's
bit, but
okay.
um,
I'm good with it.
yeah,
I'm always
right.
squirrel. So
I think most empaths or sensitives are that way. Um, so you're with Reap Investigations, and
yes.
so tell us a little bit about the team and kind of your role in the team.
Um I pretty much, I don't want to say I'm the leader of the West Coast Reap Investigations branch. Um, we actually haven't done a whole lot, but we are planning on it, getting together.
Sure.
We are West Coast Reap Investigations. I have talented, amazing teammates. Um, we vibe well. We get
Mhm.
along well. We act like adults. We know what needs to be done when we go into a haunted location. We're very professional when it comes to that. We are a crazy bunch of people, but when it comes down to investigating, we're serious.
Yeah.
I was asked to get Reap West Coast going by Bill and Chris Reap, who is Reap Investigations back east.
Yeah.
And now we're growing. We've got West Coast, we've got the Pennsylvania, the East Coast, Northern East. We've got Southwest with a couple others. I mean, there's a lot
That's
of
cool.
amazing people in this group. It's like a family,
Yeah.
not a cult or anything. I don't like Kool-Aid, so um, but no, we're a good group. We're gonna be actually the West Coast team. I've got Rhonda, um, Grimes Vegas, um, Casey Rathman, Brian Clark, Lisa Ludwig, and Charlie Kwinski. He's gonna be so mad. I can never say his last name. Um, Brian Clark.
Mhm.
So all of us, we're going to be doing the Nevada State Prison September 18th. And
Ooh,
we,
nice.
we, we do have a REAP Investigation West Coast page, which we will be going live on. So you all can watch us do our thing.
Okay. And is that
So
going to be live on Facebook?
yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'll probably do it live on mine and then we'll just switch it over to all of our pages for everyone
Yeah.
to watch. But
Okay.
we will let people know what we're doing. We're planning on possibly Arizona again to do
Nice.
the Phillips Dodge Hospital. Is that what that is? With Tony and Cherie Rathman.
Nice.
Vulture City. I'll be speaking there in October. It's an event put on by Marie and Jay Yates.
Nice.
And it's a huge event. It's going to be massive this year. And the
Right.
location there is amazing. There's 13 haunted buildings
Awesome.
on that property. Yeah, it's so
Whoa.
cool. Yeah.
Whoa. Oh man.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
we all have investigations under our belts. A lot of, we've been to different places.
Mhm.
But we get along and, we don't play around. There's no drama.
Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah.
Because as soon as drama takes hold of a team, there's no turning back, really.
Yeah. And I
And
told myself, because I used to be on a team called Ghost Posse. That was the first team I ever joined. And I decided to go on my own. Because something was telling me that you got to do something by yourself right now. Do
yeah,
your thing. So I left.
yeah.
The team is no longer together. And I told myself I'd never join a team. And then Bill and Chris, because I love them so much. Oh, we were wondering if you'd like to. And I'm like, okay. So yeah. I mean,
What?
we could do what we want. We could all go investigate where we want, hang out with who we want, investigate with who we want. There's no judgment. When we need to do what we have to do, we do it. And
Yeah,
there's no judging at all. We can hang out and do what we want. We can
that's.
even go like me. I go to events. I speak. I investigate with other people. So, and it's all good.
I think that's awesome that you have the flexibility to do that because
Mm-hmm.
more collaboration is needed
Yep.
within the paranormal field and collaborating between teams and sharing of data, and evidence and experiences about shared locations that people investigate. It's super important. And so I think that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool that you have the opportunity to, collaborate with other people. What's kind of been in your experience with doing that? What's been kind of the best thing for you about having that freedom and going and investigating with other people that aren't necessarily on your team?
Well, the thing is you meet new people. You learn from them.
Hmm.
I've learned things that, some things that people do or implement during their investigations, and I share what I know. So it's a win-win for everybody. Um, I also, we're going to do this year, if we get a chance, maybe probably not till next spring, we'll be bringing green thumb people in. We'll be bringing people that have never investigated and go
Ah,
Facebook Live with them and introduce them and bring them into the field and teach them and learn from them. And, you know, because there are a lot of people out there and a lot of teams that nobody knows about who can put in to the field good stuff. So
yeah,
so we're going to introduce people that nobody knows about, you know.
that's
You
awesome.
know, there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of all of us that have been in for a while, you know, we need to bring, you know, new people in.
Sure.
Technology has changed. I mean, there's new school technology, or there's old school methods, there's new school methods. You know, it's
Yeah,
changing. Everything changes. The what would you call it? Equipment, new equipment out there. I mean,
sure.
it changes all the time, and it just gets a little dry and boring when people are doing the same stuff all the time, you know.
I
So you
yeah, I get it.
so going out and hanging out with other people, you learn different things, and it just makes it better, you know. So
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and it'd be great if there was more and more of that going on. You know, again, the collaboration. And Rhonda says we can always learn from each other, and she's
yes,
exactly right because we should never stop learning.
you are right.
Yep. You have a ghost in there.
I do. There's
Hello.
Hi. Good evening.
Yeah, you're total. It's that's total. I'm total agreement on that because anybody who says they've learned enough, they're not in it for the right reasons.
No, we have a
Yeah,
lot to learn. There's so much.
so much to learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's never ending. So how long have you been with the team?
Um, maybe like for investigations, a couple years.
Okay.
Um, excuse me. Oh, that was wrong. Anyways, um, I've known Bill and Chris for about 5 years.
Okay.
And then they, you know, last time when we were in Vulture City, what was it, 2 years ago? That's when they asked, and I said, okay. So, so that's how long.
But now you're able to kind of provide, some education component to other people. Like you said, bringing in greenhorns
Mm-hmm.
into it and introducing them, and um,
Yeah, that's what I meant. Greenhorns, not green
yeah,
thumbs.
I knew what you meant.
We're not a a pot cultivation team or anything.
Hey, I didn't know. I mean, you're in Nevada, right?
Yeah,
So that's the
but
same as Washington. So
it
I
is
didn't,
legal.
who knows nowadays. Um, I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant, though. Um,
yeah.
so I'm curious, as going back a little bit to, after you had your hell of an experience in your 20s, when you started to um, research in the paranormal, are there any resources that you could share that you kind of gravitated towards? Was there any books or any sort of people resource that you were kind of seeking out and drawn to as you were kind of coming into the field?
Um, I, you know what really sparked my interest? You know, the experiences. Yes, I've had quite a few experiences from 15 on.
Hmm.
But the it was people. I actually watched the Ghost Adventures, and I don't watch very many shows because you know I it just doesn't really tickle my fancy.
Sure.
So because you know I live it, I do it.
Yeah.
Um, the only time I will is if there's like a specific location that I've been interested in or is on my bucket list. I would like to see how, you know, they tackled it. But um actually I was like 11, 12 years ago. That's how long I've been doing it. I was at an event that was my mom and my older sister. It was a Friday, Saturday event. It was Dave Schrader, and Debbie and Mark Constantino.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be a big event, and I guess people thought that it was just Saturday, so there was only like 10 of us. So 10 of us got to join in with Dave Schrader and Mark and Debbie, and we were at the Washoe Club. That was my
Okay.
first legit investigation.
Oh man, how lucky are you?
Yeah, and we were all sitting in a circle,
Okay.
and the amazing EVPs that we captured, the amazing experiences. Like I had what it felt like was a cat going in between, like going back and forth in between my legs, like purring on my legs. And
Okay.
then after that, it stopped. And then Debbie was sitting on the floor and she goes, "Oh, it's in my lap."
Oh man.
So that was like really cool. And I got to, you know, and that's what where it started.
Yeah, we got some other people. Linda Myers saying that's on her bucket list, the Washoe Club.
Oh, it's
And
amazing. It's amazing.
Mary said loved it. Super haunted place.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mary Bethune. She's a good friend of the show, and I've done a ton of investigations with her.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome first, legit investigation to do, and the fact that you guys only had 10 people,
Yeah, it
then
was
that's
amazing.
maybe it was meant to happen that way or
I
something.
think it was. Yeah. But that right there, I went and I found a team and I applied and they're like, no, we're not, taking
Okay.
anybody. And I'm like, well, damn, So I waited and I waited. And then finally they're like, hey, we have an opening. Would you like to come for an interview? And I'm like, absolutely. And so I joined them and I became like lead investigator immediately because of all the stuff that we all started to get as investigators, the evidence and stuff. And then that's when I'm like, oh God, I need to do this. Yeah, I can't. There's just, and so I left, which I left in good terms
Sure.
because there's just no way I would, be an ass about that. So, but we all left in good terms and we're all friends still to this day. I still even investigate with some of my old team members.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, and then I went on and it's been a ride, an amazing ride so far.
Yeah.
So
I think it's what a great experience. And so would you tell somebody out there like a greenhorn or a green thumb, depending on what state you're in, um, what advice would you give to somebody who's, was in that kind of position you were in where, you were super excited about, wanting to join a team and you'd had these experiences. What's a piece of advice that you could give to somebody when looking for a team?
um well, first you've got to have that passion. You don't go into it because, oh, everyone wants to be famous in the field.
Mhm.
There's so many people like that, and that's not what it's all about.
Mhm.
It's not all about television. It's totally different.
Mhm.
Some of these TV programs, they're in locations for a week at a time before they even get an amazing piece of possible paranormal evidence. You can't
Yeah.
say it's real evidence because there's a lot of people that have opinions on everything, on what it could be.
Yeah.
Be respectful, research the team, see how long they've been together, go on their pages, see how they work together on their lives. And just be, I mean, if you really want to do it for the right reasons. Don't do it to be like a fame whore.
Great term.
Yeah, there's so many egos out there.
Yeah.
Um, just do what you are here to do. Be humble, be respectful.
Yeah.
learn about your gifts, your body, learn about what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Never be disrespectful to the spirits or anything in that matter, and just go for it.
Yeah.
And if it's your knack, it's your knack. If it's not, then do something else. Go on a bowling league or something. I don't know.
There you go.
You
That's a
know?
good alternative.
Sometimes people, try and find that path.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll finally find it.
Yeah.
So,
And there's so many TV shows, and sure, it's created a lot of people trying to go down the road you're talking about, of trying to just be on TV. But don't you think, think about this. Don't you think that you'd be far wider famous, far wider known, if you were a credible investigator and you did everything you could right to do investigations credibly and as controlled as you can, and you got those pieces of evidence or the elusive proof of the afterlife? And don't you think you'd be so much more famous if you went about it that way than trying to go through the TV shows?
yeah, pretty much. I've been asked many times. I mean, maybe there will be. I mean, maybe one day when I'm older and I'm like, oh, screw it, I'll just do it, But it's if I did it, it would be for the right reasons. It would be
Yeah.
to put my kid through college or something like that.
Yeah.
But people need to understand that being on television, there's quite a few people that still have 40-hour week jobs that are on television
Yeah.
and do that. I mean, I had jobs that paid more money than the show would ever pay me. So
Right.
just do it for the right reasons. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. And there's a lot of good that's come out of the TV shows too, and a
well,
lot
I
of
wouldn't be here today, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for a television show, because
right.
that's what striked my interest. And then
And
bam.
I'm
So
right
kudos on the TV shows.
right
Because,
there with you.
yeah.
Yeah, same way. It was Ghost Hunters for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's
When
okay. They're
Yeah,
okay. People, it's okay if you're a paranormal celebrity or on a paranormal show. I've met some amazing, wonderful, beautiful, good-hearted people that have been on TV. And
totally.
they're just as humble and amazing and just real.
Yep.
But there are some out there that are like pompous asses, and I'm not even gonna tell you who that is, because some people just know.
Yeah.
But
No, I
you
agree.
know,
There's a lot of people out there trying to put in the good work, and being on a TV show gives you a platform to be able to do
mhm.
that. And so I can totally appreciate that, but it's the ones that, are just in it for the fame, that aren't in it for the research or helping the spirits or helping, move the field forward, that those can be, detrimental to the field in general. But no, I'm right there with you. I think there's a lot of great people out there trying to do it and trying to do it
Oh,
in a good
there
way.
is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's people are just making a living. I'm not a hater about it.
Yeah.
I really am. I
Yeah.
really ain't. I'm really not. Okay.
Yeah.
No, actually, I just see. There's a squirrel moment. Stop. Quit it. My other personalities, I guess.
It's Tess. It's Tess again.
Yes. Stop it. Oh no,
So
it's okay.
yeah, no, totally. If I were to be on a TV show, I would say I would want to be trying to put out the good, a good way of approaching things, or what I think is a good way,
Mhm.
which not everyone's going to agree with, and I get that, but what the heck, anything's possible. Um,
Yeah.
you
There's a
know,
lot of shows out there that are for entertainment. And my
right,
thing is I'm stubborn because I want to do it the right way. I don't want to fake something. I don't want to see something, freak out and say, "Oh, we missed it. Michelle, go back in there and act scared." No, screw you. I did it. I'm done. I won't do it again.
right, right.
So that's just, I think, and I'm respected in the field. I feel that because I am genuine. I am real.
Mhm.
I treat people with the utmost respect. Um, I investigate. I share with people. I'm not on television. I don't have to be on television to be respected or known
Right.
because I am passionate at what I do.
Sure. And
So,
if you've got that passion, that helps set your intention and
mm-hmm.
put you in the right place.
Yep.
We had Sherry commenting. Can you put that up again? Yeah, folks need to remember where they came from once. They hit the gold and then they hit the goldfish. So
Yeah.
remember where you came from. And then Linda Myers was saying that these radio shows are excellent information for new people as well. And I certainly hope that this show is helping some people out there, at least maybe give a direction to go in. So thanks for that. Thanks for
Always
that, Linda.
respect the people on your always respect the people on your way out up, because the ones that support you may not be there when you fall.
Yes.
So, and there's a lot of people out there that just don't care. They're in it for themselves. They don't
Yeah.
care about there's a lot of coattail riders.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
And you had recently done a post about that.
yeah. You think
And
they're your friends, and then you introduce them to the field. I've trained people. I've treated people with the utmost respect. I've introduced them. I've got them on shows. I've done this and that and this, and then they turn around and poop on me. It's like,
yeah,
fuck you. Pardon my French, but yes.
we
Hopefully
can
you have
say
a beat for that.
no, we can say what we want.
Yay! All right.
Uh-oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh,
Uh, we
I'm
can
just
say what
kidding.
we can say
I'll
what we want.
refrain. Okay.
Totally know what you mean though, and where you're coming from. I want to touch on something you had mentioned a little bit ago about, when you're giving a tip of, looking to join a team and stuff, of don't disrespect the spirits either. And
Provoking is terrible.
amen. Um, I've always been of the belief, and I'll tell you, in me coming into the field and meeting people, I met some really great people, and I feel super lucky for that. And it was kind of brought to my attention early on, was what you put out there is what you're going to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're
Yes.
going into a place and you're like, da, 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 yelling at the spirits and stuff, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
Either nothing, because they will decide to never talk to you,
Yeah.
or you get met with that same sort of aggression. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, that's true. I always go in positive. Um, I've actually been on an investigation where someone provoked and was a very nasty person, just being really mean. And I'm like, I'm out. It's on you. And I walked out. That pisses me off more than anything, is
Yeah,
disrespecting spirit. I don't care if it's a negative spirit. I've treated negative, nasty spirits that I've felt with kindness, and I've never received anything, bad as an outcome. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't agree with it. You're going to be a jerk to the spirits. They're going to turn around and be a jerk back. I think the reason why I get a lot of possible paranormal evidence, I never claim that it's paranormal. I usually let people have their own opinion about it,
yeah,
and I welcome their opinions. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty interesting, but I'm never a jerk about it.
yeah.
But yeah, where was I going with that?
I like the term. I like the term unexplained phenomena.
Yes,
That's
it's unexplained.
yeah,
I never say, oh my God, this orb is like bouncing off my shoulder and bouncing on the ground. It's everyone's like, it's a ball, it's a bug. Okay, so a bug bounces off your shoulder and then bounces like a ball.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'd say to everyone watching out there, and thanks again for
Mhm.
watching on the Paranormal Pete Show. We're on episode 30 here, and Let's Talk Radio, WLTK-DB.com. Thanks for all the support. What is has anybody ever been on an investigation where somebody was provoking, and what did you do? I applaud Michelle for walking out and saying, like you said, this is on you.
I
I
mean, it
can't hang with
is.
this. And
I won't.
that's hard to do. That's, what you did is, it's honorable, but it's also kind of hard to do. I mean, I myself would probably, I feel like I would just kind of stay and just kind of keep quiet and try and just quietly talk to the spirit saying, yeah, don't listen to this guy or
Yeah, I
lady,
don't. I
you
don't
know.
agree with it. I don't like negativity. And if there's people there that are negative and they're acting that way, I don't want
Yeah.
any part of it. I don't.
Yeah.
I go in with a positive attitude, and being an empathic person and a
Yeah.
sensitive, that's gonna drain on me, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna feel negative. And
And
then
yeah, right. And it'll affect how your investigation goes.
yeah, and then it's just you, like you said, you'll get nothing or you're gonna get something, and you're not gonna like what you're gonna get.
Right.
So you're gonna get
Yeah.
followed home and then be tortured by this high energy,
Yeah.
spirit that can throw stuff, like a poltergeist. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta. I mean, it could make your life a living hell.
Sure. And if
Um,
yeah, I totally
Especially, yeah, I don't like it. I just
yeah,
don't. I don't agree.
totally agree with you. Now I know that you've had a lot of experiences. You mentioned earlier that a spirit you woke up, in that hotel and hearing your name called. Have you had
Hmm.
other experiences at other locations where you've either received your name on EVP or
Actually,
disembodied where you heard it in the room?
actually, yes, I have. Actually, I do all types of methods of investigating. I'll do the old school, which would maybe be considered like maybe a little hotel bell, a bell on some fishing wire. I recently started using compasses. I'll do flames on candles. I'll do the old school stuff. If that doesn't work, then I go to the new school stuff, like the all the electronic equipment,
Hmm.
all the REM pods, the meters, and spirit boxes. A lot of people don't agree with spirit boxes,
Right.
because they think, oh, it takes your data out of your tablet or your phone and it gives you your name and all this stuff. Well, actually, Rhonda, yeah, she's coming. I have a clip and I'm going to try and show it to you, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
Awesome.
Um, I was inside the Jackson Hotel in Eureka, Nevada.
Okay.
Now, my name, Michelle Labaron, is a maiden name. None of my stuff on the outside, I'm private with my life. Everyone knows me as Michelle Labaron. My stuff that's on mine has a different last name. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So what I got here, and I'm gonna let you hear it, and I will keep playing it for a couple minutes. It's not long.
Okay.
What I do is I'm doing an ITC application, which is intertrans communication.
Yep.
And ITC is basically using other methods to contact spirit, whether it be steam or fire or white noise or
Sure.
television, or you can see things. So what I do is I like using ITC applications. Well, this says my full name, Michelle LeBaron. Okay. And on
Okay.
this app I have on my tablet, I don't have email. I don't have social media on my tablet. I just have these ITC applications. I have nothing stating my maiden name. So, that being said, hello, look at it here.
Your
Okay,
device is haunted.
it is. Okay, so, all right, and so here, I'm going to turn this on.
Cool.
Hang on here. How come it's not.
I will stop on the film.
What is this? Hold on here. Hang on. Save. Sorry. It's a female, and I've
Okay.
gotten this happen to me numerous times.
Would you say it's the same voice?
It sounds like it. The
Okay.
same woman that comes through.
Yeah.
And it's the same lady. So
I will stop on the
can you
film.
hear it?
Some energy.
Watch. Can you hear it?
It's right underneath there. You can hear it, Michelle Labaron.
Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. I'm trying to hold this and this little speaker so you can see. I can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, there I am investigating.
Okay.
Here we go. Where's the play button on this darn thing? Sorry. What in the world? Hang on, guys.
That's okay.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, here it is.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I think we got a ghost.
Something's
What in the
messing
world
with you.
is wrong with my... How weird.
Hopefully it's
There
not
it goes.
me messing with your electronics unknowingly.
No. Hang on.
Yeah.
I will stop on the film.
What the world? It's
It-
something's
right where-
freezing.
Right where it cut off was where your name was.
Film.
I want some energy. He just said my name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was a pretty whispery sounding voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, how did how did that make you feel? And then I'll share a couple experiences I've had with that similar sort of
You
thing.
know, here I am into this investigation. Here I am into this investigation because everybody knows me, the crazy TikTok girl, the happy person, the crazy person. I am that way. I am a kind, loving human being.
Mhm.
But when it comes to investigating, I am very, very serious. Very serious. And when I heard that, I was shocked. I mean, I was speechless.
Right.
At the other place in Eureka, I was sitting down, and this was like a year ago before this one. And this is the first time it did it, and it's on my paranormal page. It's like the highlighted pinned video.
Okay.
So I'm sitting down with the Wonder Box. I have the Spirit Box, the Spiritus ITC application.
Okay.
Now, also, Keith Weldon is the one that makes this application. He didn't know me prior to that.
Sure.
And my name is in there. So when I played it, I'm sitting there and it goes, my friend goes, "Why are you here?" And this woman goes, "Michelle Labaron." And I go, "Oh my God." I freaked out. And I'm sitting there just numb. I couldn't speak. I was like, "Oh my God." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, they just said your full name." And then they came back around and I said, "I would love it if you could say my name one more time, please."
Oh, nice.
And the woman goes, "Michelle Labaron." And I just jumped up with joy. I mean, it was, oh my gosh,
So
unreal.
right, and so it said it another time. So
Yeah.
what do you so you are correct that ITC research, people either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And they either think you're great for doing it or they think you're dumb for doing it.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of middle ground, but I like to consider myself to be kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
And my take on it is, sure, it's, it can be suggestive, if you're using like in PSP 7 or an 11, a certain device, or if you're going old school and you hacked a Radio Shack radio, why not?
Yeah.
That's my question. Why not? We don't have a device that says there's a ghost in front of you for sure, and this is what it is. There's no device or tool that we have that can do that except for our own selves. And so I just figure, why not? Why not do the research? What if you come across that formula that brings it all home?
Well, I
Right?
actually was working with someone, but I'm not going to say their name.
Hmm.
We did an EVP session and we got spirits speaking to us. And what we did is we had this application which would show you the decimals of different frequencies. And
Okay.
our frequencies, our voices were like in the D area.
Okay.
The spirits' voices were in the F range.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that, spirits can manipulate different frequencies and they speak through
Yeah.
they speak a different frequency.
Yeah.
So they can manipulate electronic equipment to
I
do that. So
Yep, I think so too. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they be able to?
yeah, it's just
You know.
cool.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I
Well,
love it.
I didn't have these preloaded, but I wanted to play a couple for you.
Okay.
And it had my name in it because up here in Port Gamble, they call me out all the time. And there's been other teams investigating, and Mary and Linda, who've been commenting,
Uh-huh.
have been investigating, and I wasn't there, and they've gotten things that said like, "Where's Pete?" Which makes me feel good that I try and honor the long-term residents here, and try to build that respect and
See, you're a
rapport with
beacon
them.
of you're a beacon of light like I am. They're drawn to your light.
Trying to be.
Yeah.
So
No,
here's one.
they are.
Here's one where I asked a question and got a direct response.
Okay.
Let me know what you think.
Do you live across the street?
Wow.
I'll play it for you one more time here.
Yeah.
Do you live across the street?
Yeah, that's so rad. Where's
So
Pete?
yeah, well, it says yes, Pete.
Oh, it sounds like where's Pete?
Yeah, so I find ITC research interesting because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of possibilities, and also you can tie in parapsychology with it too,
Mm-hmm.
which is also another avenue of research with ITC because if I ask a question, when you're doing an ITC session, do you kind of set rules or parameters for how you'd like answers to come in so that it's something different? Or, how do you kind of approach when you start a session? Do you set any rules?
No, I just go with it. I
Let it ride.
I let it ride.
Yeah.
I turn it on, and usually when I turn it on, it's quiet, and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Hello,
Yeah.
are you with me?" And then it's like,
Yeah.
then they start talking, and then you
Yeah.
hear them having conversations with themselves,
Hmm.
and then you kind of listen in and kind of put it all together, and then you talk to them like you're in their conversation, and
Yeah.
then they start speaking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, and I guess I've kind of set rules because I typically use, I have a PSB 7. So
Mm-hmm.
typically that's what I'll use if I'm going to do that. And because there's so much stuff going on with the radio, I usually will say, "Hey, if you want to answer me a question, I want to get to know you, but if you could please say my name along with your answer so I know that you're talking to me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's good.
so oftentimes I'll get a yes Pete or a no Pete, or anybody who asks a question, I'll say, "Can you please say their name along with it too?" So
Yeah,
and I think
that's
it's just
awesome.
because of the device, I'm using just to try and help with, since there's so much going on there. But I've always found it pretty interesting. And like I said, why not? Why not
Mm-hmm.
try ITC research? Why not
Why
go for
not?
that? Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, there's going to be someone's going to come up with
Yeah,
something else that we get to try. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
it's, how long have people been doing this? They've been doing this since like the 1900s, the early 1900s, spiritualists,
Even
you
late
know?
1800s. Yeah. The
Yeah.
spiritualist movement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
mean, and we're still going.
Yeah, and you can even argue that going back, 1,000 years,
Yeah.
a couple thousand. It's just, the technology wasn't there. It was more of the human technology
Yeah,
on
you're
how to research
correct.
that. But
Like the
now,
aliens, they've got, like in the pyramids, they've got,
sure,
UFOs and skinny beings with big heads, and it's like,
sure.
whoa.
Yeah,
So,
I'm open to all that for
yeah,
sure,
me
because
too.
my motto in the paranormal is kind of, we don't know much and anything's possible.
Hmm.
So, we got to stay open to that sort of thing. So, well, tell me about you mentioned Virginia City's kind of like your home away from home. What's your go-to investigation spot? What's your go-to that you can go, 100 times and you wouldn't get bored at?
Washoe Club.
Okay.
Um,
I kind of figured.
I mean, I've been to every location there. I mean, there's so many.
Hmm.
My favorite is the Washoe Club. Um, I've been to them all the places.
Yeah.
Mackey Mansion is my second favorite.
Okay.
And I had a really crazy experience in the Union Brewery, but no one's allowed in there
Oh,
because,
really? Are you
yeah,
allowed to share your experience even, or?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
No,
Nope. Roger that.
privacy,
Yep.
yeah,
Nope.
for the
That's all
owner
good.
because
That's
she's my
totally fine.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally fine. Well, tell us about what's um what's one of your scariest moments investigating, and you can do either or both, with the living and with the dead.
Um. Okay. I'm just gonna do with the dead because
Okay.
well, and the living, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, it's part one, part two, and I've told this
Yeah.
story many times, but I was in the Washoe Club with some friends of mine, past teammates of Ghost Posse, and I'm not going to
Okay.
say the person's name due to
Yeah.
privacy.
Yeah.
But I was in the ballroom with a few people, and she's like, Mish, I need you to come down this hall. And I'm feeling something in this room. And I'm like, well, okay. So I went with her, and there's a wall. Okay. You walk down this hall, there's a wall, and then there's a room. There's the wall in the room.
Okay.
And so when I'm looking to the left, it's a white wall. And then I'm
Okay.
looking in, and my friend's standing on the left to me, right by me against the
Okay.
wall. And so she goes, look in there, Mish. And I'm trying to adjust my vision because I'm in the dark. I
Okay.
mean, all I
Sure.
could see is kind of like a little bit of a red light because of the exit sign
Yeah.
or the fire sign or whatever it was. And so it's green, the green light. And I'm sitting there, and I'm standing there, and I'm looking in the room, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. And she goes, are you sure, Mish? She's like, just keep feeling, keep looking. And I'm like, okay. So I turn my head, and she's gone. I don't see her. I mean, she
Okay.
was like right there, and there's a wall. And I'm like screaming her name. Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, and I turn back around, and she moves forward, but she wasn't moving. There was a black mass that had caped over her.
Oh my
So when
gosh.
it moved backwards, it made her look like she was coming forward at me. And I screamed bloody murder. I was
Holy.
scared to death. And people ran to me, and they were pulling me away. And
Oh no. I think we lost Michelle again. What a crazy experience. And when we get her back here, um we'll have her finish the story. But has anybody out there watching, have you seen a shadow figure or some sort of dark colored mass? Have you ever seen that on an investigation? And well, we got Michelle back. She can finish the story.
I'm sorry.
Now
I
that's
have
quite okay.
I have no idea. Every time I start getting into a story, my
It's
stuff gets shut off. I mean, I think it's the spirits in my house because my house is highly haunted.
okay.
So, but
I
other
live
than
in one
that,
too. I live in one too.
but other than that, they
So
brought me into the ballroom, and they're
okay.
trying to calm me down. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to face this thing. I need to face what just scared me. And I walked towards the stairwell. I turned to the left and I looked forward, and I can see this black mass. I have photos of this mass. I just caught it like a couple months ago, a full bodied apparition. And I've caught him on the second floor. He looks like the Cape Man. He's about almost 7 feet tall. He's massive. So I've captured him. So I'm turning around and I'm looking, and I can see the energy and him pulsating off the wall, and you could hear
Oh my
it.
gosh.
And this is what it sounded like. Woof, 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 like that. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm getting chills. So
I'm
I
getting
turn,
chills too.
so I turn around, I walk back to the ballroom. I'm like, we need to go. We all need to leave right now because it's not safe. And we
Yeah.
all left. But he has shown himself a couple times to me. He keeps the spirit at bay. He rules the spirits there. He will choose whether or not he will let the spirit speak to you. He is very powerful.
Yeah.
He hasn't hurt me. He's
Yeah.
shown himself in photos to me.
But he just
But
wants to have control on
yeah,
what's going on there.
yes, he
That's
does.
interesting. Do you have
Yeah.
any clue to who he might have been in life?
I think he was like not a mob, kind of like the mob, but a big dog in the mining days, like
Sure.
a
Oh
rich
yeah.
man
Yeah.
who had authority, kind of like an Al Capone sort of
Mhm.
cowboy dude.
Do you have a name at all?
I don't.
I feel like
He's never spoke to me.
I feel like it's a lot more common first name than you'll think it is.
I was thinking like Steve or
Yeah,
John.
I'm thinking like Michael, but the last name either starts with a Z or has a really strong Z sound in it.
Okay, okay. Well, that's interesting. I'll
So, I mean,
figure
I don't
something out.
know. What a weird, I mean, 7 feet tall,
He's
I,
huge.
I wonder if in life he was short
He might have
and,
been. I mean, he
and
could be
didn't
in
like being
another.
short.
He could be 5 foot, but in our
Yeah.
dimension, he could be in another dimension
Yeah.
as someone that's 5 foot. But to me and to everybody else, he's massive.
Yes.
Who can see
Yeah.
it, but he's actually small. I'm not scared of him
Yeah.
anymore
And
because I've faced him.
I think
So
there's maybe a respect from his end
yeah,
to
that's what I
you if you
feel.
don't fear him, that he's like, okay, I can deal with her. She, we can talk. I can
Yeah.
show her what I look like, and I think that's pretty
Oh
amazing.
yeah. I think if you go on my paranormal page, I have the one that's recent. This
Okay.
guy, you can see he's wearing boots. He looks like he's wearing a hat, like a regular hat. He's heavy set looking, but
Yeah.
tall, and you could see him outlined. I took a photo, and this is what I thought. Okay, so the sunlight's coming up. And I'm thinking about, okay, this is like a different light spectrum.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will show me themselves to the sun coming through the building,
Yeah.
lighting up the building. So I stayed in one area. I took 3 photos. Bam, there he was. Bam, he was gone. And it's
Yeah.
big, and it's an
Oh,
amazing photo.
that's really cool. And so that's on your Facebook, your paranormal page, the
Yeah.
Ghost Magnet, right?
It's Michelle Labaron / paranormal investigator.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. Let's check that out, people. And by the way, I think the last name is Mackenzie.
Oh, it
If
could be. There's a
if you could
lot of Irish and
look
Scottish
up
people there.
look up that name if you can, if you have access to some historical stuff,
Okay,
look up
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Okay.
Um,
I will. I'll let you know what I find.
yeah.
That
Well,
is Mackenzie.
with a Z, I think. So,
Yeah.
um, okay. So we talked about a scary moment, and that was a heck of a good one. Now, what's your funniest moment you've had on an investigation, whether it was either the living or the dead, but you almost died from laughing.
Oh.
Probably a lot, right?
Uh, you know, I don't recall.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you recall any funny moments in investigation? No. We're serious, man.
Gosh, I guess really serious. My goodness.
Oh no, I know one. We were at the um we were at this haunted location out here in Reno. It's out in a pasture. It's called the Truckee Murder House, which there was no murder there. It's just because there's a
Right.
YouTube team that kind of hyped it up. So now everyone thinks it's like, and we found out there's lots of critters and stuff that hang out and go in there. And but I walked over to my friends and it made me laugh because there's a lot of horse crap and cow crap all over the place.
Okay.
And I said, "Hey, you guys." And they're like, "What?" And I go, "I'm a shit kicker." And I kicked a big old cow pie at them. That was my funny thing. I
Yeah.
mean, we do.
Or the rodent that kept popping out.
Oh,
of the
yeah. There
floorboard.
was this. That was funny. We were investigating, and I have this bear with a motion light. And
Okay.
I
Mhm.
just got this $5 bear, and I went to Home Depot, and I got this motion light that has kind of like a 360 visual.
Okay.
And I stuck it to its chest with Velcro. That's a cheap paranormal piece of equipment right there,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
works. But my friend Rhonda's like, "What the hell is that?" There's this rodent of something. It looked weird. It didn't look
Like a rat or a mouse.
yeah, but it had like these weird ears, and it kept
Weird.
popping up in the floorboard and coming down and popping up. My teddy bear kept going off too. I was like, so that was funny.
Yeah.
There was just so many rodents, and I'm not going back there. It's like this is a joke.
And the house is a hazard.
Yeah, the house is a hazard, and be careful,
Oh,
people
yeah.
too, going into places that are not inhabited because they can be
There's a
very
reason.
dangerous.
There's
Yeah,
a reason they're not inhabited.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So
man. Well, in this new world that we kind of live in here, the new normal, whatever that is, are you guys more conscious about paranormal safety, like going
oh,
in, like
absolutely.
taking masks with you, whether there's a pandemic or not, having a mask, in case you do go into a place that's,
Oh yeah, for black mold
old
and
and
all that.
moldy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. If we walk into somewhere, like my friend Rhonda here, she lives in by Jackson, California, where there's a lot of abandoned mine shafts and mine buildings,
Okay.
old buildings, and we'll walk in, but if it smells like mold, you can smell it, you know it
Yeah. Yeah.
automatically. We don't go in at all.
Yeah.
I carry first aid. I carry band-aids,
Yeah.
antibiotic ointment. I know CPR and I know first aid. So it's
Yeah.
very important to have someone on a team or someone with you that knows how to do that as well. And be aware of your surroundings. I mean, because I stepped on a freaking rattlesnake one time.
Ooh.
I mean, my foot was on it and its head was under my shoe.
Oh,
And my
oh my
friend's like,
gosh.
"Mish, you're on a snake." I'm like, "What? What?" And she's like, "You're on a fucking snake." And I'm like, "Ah!" And it was a rattler.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And my friend Jack picked it up and threw it. I was like, "Oh my God." Yeah, you just got to be
Yeah.
careful.
Right.
I carry a flashlight that has a stun gun attached to it for safety.
Nice.
So, because there's a lot of places that you go in that you see that could be possibly haunted, and you walk in, no trespassing. If there's signs there that say no trespassing, do not go into those buildings. But like if I see a building that doesn't have that, I'll go in, I'll check it out. But there's squatters
Yeah.
and people that are not, in our frame of mind.
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
have to be careful, and that's
Or
why I carry a stun gun. So
Yep. Yeah. And you never know, like, especially when you're out at 1, 2 in the morning,
yeah.
investigating. You never know what you're going to get as far as the living. So
Especially going into caves. There's animals, there's bears, there's mountain lion.
totally.
I mean, you
Yep.
need to like walk that cave earlier during the afternoon
Yeah.
when you're going in at night to
Yeah.
make sure that there's nothing in there that'll harm you.
So,
So,
so it sounds like you've been to maybe a lot of mining areas. Have you ever been to Silver City, Idaho?
I have not, and I've heard about that place. So I want to.
That's one place I want to go. My
Isn't that
grandfather.
outside of Boise?
It's
A
it's
little
kind of like
bit.
central
Yeah,
Idaho.
yeah.
A really cool spot. I used to go camping there with my grandfather. He was born there when it wasn't a ghost town, when it was a mining town.
Oh, nice.
And he was born there. I think he was born in 1911.
Wow.
And grew up there as a kid, and so he'd take me there camping. Now I'm hearing stories and I'm like, well, I used to go wander around as far as I could into the old mine shafts. Probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I want to go check that out now in the old hotel there. So there's one to add to your list of.
Yeah, I actually have that on my bucket list. A friend of
Nice.
mine is from Boise and he told me about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I don't like going into mine shafts. Those are dangerous, extremely dangerous.
Yeah, don't go very far in them. Yeah.
And I am very claustrophobic. So when I walk in there and the walls start getting smaller and smaller, I'm like,
You're out.
get out of
You're
here.
done.
And bats start flying out at you. Yeah, it's
Yeah. I don't do
I've
bats.
had adventures. Me neither.
I don't do bats.
I don't either.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah, were you recently at the Preston Castle? Did you
Yeah.
get over there?
I've been there before many times and it's
Okay.
yeah.
The bats.
Yeah. In the room.
Yeah. How did you?
Yeah.
That's one place I haven't gone myself, and I've just heard really cool stuff about it. The architecture and the history of it. So, did you have any experiences there that you could share?
I actually did. I was in the company B room
Okay.
at the Preston Castle, and actually my friend Susan, she was standing there. She's like, something's touching my hair. There was no wind or anything, and her hair was doing this.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, wow. So we got it on camera. And then I went and I'm standing, I sit down on my chair and we're like, okay, we're starting to investigate. We put our little REM pods and things there. And I got up to get a ball to set down on the floor for the kids. And I stood up and then I rolled it and then I went back down and my chair wasn't there. And bam! Something had pulled my chair out behind me. I mean, it was and it was like, holy crap, that chair moved. Like, well, couldn't someone tell me that before I sat down?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's voices. I've been there a few times where I haven't got anything.
Yeah.
You get great EVPs in the shower room area and the doctor's area. But those are the three places that I actually got good stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Well,
So,
hey,
yeah.
that sounds like fun. Well,
Yeah.
we're coming to the end of the show here, and I can't believe it. Million thanks to you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for
And
having me.
yeah, and be sure to look for Michelle at all the upcoming ghost conferences and events she's got coming up. You mentioned end of August. Where are you going to be at the end of August?
Chehalis, Washington.
Chehalis, yep.
Washington. The week before that, the August 19th through the 22nd, I'll be in Marshalltown, Iowa.
Okay.
To do the Midwest Paranormal Festival.
Cool.
There's a lot of cool people there. I'll be speaking, and I will be joining Christopher Sutton for a VIP investigation. We'll have a group of people in the jail. We're going to be the second group of people able to investigate it. So,
oh, nice.
It's him and I teaming up together. I adore that man. So, and then I will be teaming up with Amy Green and Holly Mullins in another building on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then October, 7th?
Yep.
October 7th through the 11th. I'll be in Vulture City in Phoenix for that big event. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
You're busy. You're busy.
I am busy.
And that's good. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate the conversation and the thoughts that you brought to it, and thanks for what you bring to the paranormal field too.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
it's very valuable, and I've got some great guests coming up through the course of this month. Next Tuesday on the 10th, I've got Darren Thompson, a paranormal investigator and researcher from WSPIR here in Washington, the Taps family here in Washington. Darren is a wealth of information. He knows his tech stuff. Plus, we always have a lot of good laughs when me and Darren talk. So I'm looking forward to that next Tuesday with Darren Thompson. I'll be taking the 17th off. And so we'll play a different show, previous show. And then on the 24th, I'm going to have psychic medium and author Mary Beckman on the show. And we're looking forward to getting her perspective on healing and healing energies and psychic work and mediumship work and how she teaches people to kind of help fix themselves. And so I'm really looking forward to that conversation. On August 31st, thanks, Rhonda, for saying great show. Susanna, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mary. And so August 31st, I've got Ankasha Amenti coming on, psychic medium and author, and she's been a longtime friend here in Port Gamble, and so I'm super stoked to have Ankasha on the show August 31st. And then September 7th, we're going to go outside the realm of ghosts, well, sort of, and I've got Mr. Ron Moorhead coming on the show. We're going to talk Bigfoot.
Awesome.
And quantum Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. So I've got
That's
some
good.
great shows coming up. I'm super stoked. And I'll be announcing more shows through September as we get a little bit closer. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, you can find my show page at WLTK-DB.com. But yeah, thanks to everybody for commenting tonight and listening. It's always super appreciated. Special thanks again to Michelle for being the guest tonight, and
thank you.
Catch her at all these events that are coming up. And I leave every show with a toast. The past is history and the future's a mystery, but today's a gift because it's the present. And don't forget to take some time each day to be present, know what's around you, be where you're at, and be there. Hug all the ones you're with. Hug everyone else virtually for a little while longer, hopefully just a little while longer. And go in peace, and we'll see y'all next week on the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea, on WLTK-DB.com. Thanks, Michelle. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Be safe.